Hey everybody, Jimmy Smith, back again for my fight picks, this time UFC on ESPN 55, kind of a smaller card. Before we get into that, only a few spots left for my trip to Amsterdam, September 16th to 26th. Send me an email, fightingtours@gmail.com to get all the info you want to come with me and train at the Voss Gym for about 10 days. So it's going to be fun, but spots are starting to fill up, so let me know if you want to get in on it. Anyway, on to the picks. So this is a tough one, right? The reason is fight cards are generally hard to pick because you don't have fighters that have a lot of success at the elite level. They don't have a lot of fights. If they do, they're not under the big lights or anything like that. So there's not a huge body of work to go on. And they're comparatively evenly matched unless they want to really boost somebody up. So this is a tough card to pick all the way around. I'll try and find the gems for you. We start out with Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, versus Uros Medic. And this is in the welterweight division. Tim Means way more experience. Uros Medic just getting his career going in the UFC. It's weird when I look at records like this is, when I started, or even long after I started, you couldn't have what he has, which, whatever it is, 5 fights in the UFC, 6 fights in the UFC, including Dana White's Contender Series, and not have any fights against anybody worth anything. Right? He's early in his career. So there was a time when you had 5 or 6, it was either you were in or out. But, now you can have 5 or 6 fights and you're just getting started. But only fight of note for Medic is against Jalen Turner. He lost that by rear naked choke. That was in 2021. Been up and down since then, coming off a loss. Tim Means is really experienced, but the problem with being so experienced is he's got a lot of miles on him. And right now, he had a 3-fight losing streak snapped by a win over Andre Fialho. Got a knockout there. Every time he's had a step up, he's lost, and not even a huge step up. Kevin Holland, Max Griffin, Alex Morano, Daniel Rodriguez, Nico Price aren't great fighters by any stretch of the imagination. They're good mid-level guys, and his wins tend to be against mid-level guys as well. So that's kind of the problem in evaluating this is, do you go for the experience, but the guy has a lot of miles on him, versus the guy who's just getting started, who really don't know how good he is? Then I looked at the odds, and it's unbelievable to me. I use bestfightodds.com because they have a range of all the different books. And right now, the odds on this are pretty insane. It is Tim Means plus 250. Medic is minus 300, a 3-1 favorite. To me, that's absurd. Tim Means all day. I was back and forth on who to pick for this one. I looked at the odds and I went, oh my God, forget it. Like, for those kind of odds, you got to go with Tim Means. Still dangerous enough. Right, still coming off a win, right? He does know how to do it. Still has power in his hands. If you get into a brawl with this guy, he can knock you out. 3-1, you got to take Tim Means in this very, very early. It doesn't matter, what happens in the fight. 3-1, you got to take Tim Means in this fight. So, moving up, next one is in the featherweight division. Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. Both guys, once again, kind of getting started. What the odds makers see in this one is the win streak of Jonathan Pierce before losing to Dennison, who is a really good fighter, who's on a great streak of his own. He won that by ninja choke, but, beat Makwan Amirkhani, who's pretty good. Darren Elkins isn't that great. He's been beat up a lot, but still has, some ability. Kai Kamaka won over Bubba Jenkins in PFL last week as a win over him. So he had a decent streak before falling to Dennison Brito. David Onama hasn't gotten any real streak going. The silent assassin. He's been win some, lose some. Lost his UFC debut, 1-2, lost to Nate Landwehr, then bounced back against Gabriel Santos. So what the odds makers are thinking is that Jonathan Pierce's streak was interrupted by better talent than the talent that David Onama has faced. I like both these guys. I think Dennison Brito a bit more aggressive, right? He is an outstanding knockout artist, 14 wins, 9 wins by knockout. Tends to get it done on the feet. David Onama, not bad either. His striking's pretty good, 11 wins, 7 by knockout. He's a bit bigger, he's a bit leaner, David Onama, but I think Jonathan Pierce's experience and his patience help him out in this one. I think it's a stoppage, but I probably think round number 3 for Jonathan Pierce. That's where I'd go for this one. So, on to the next one. It is Austin Lane versus Horata Diniz. Now, the thing about this fight is Austin Lane is a heavyweight who has done nothing in the UFC. He's 1 win, 1 no contest, got here on the Contender Series, lost to Justin Tafa, who himself is a very, very limited heavyweight, can't do very much, got knocked out in the first round against him. He's fun, he's interesting, he's big, he's aggressive, but doesn't have a ton of ability. He's in the UFC in a division where he can survive for a little bit without that. They're bringing in Dennison from Brazil, 6-0, undefeated, got here on the Contender Series, had a first-round knockout. So, I think they've tried out Austin Lane. They know the deal. He's pretty limited. Let's see if we can get a better guy in there. Dennison's 6'4", a very big heavyweight. Austin Lane is 6'6", so the visuals are good. Two big guys slugging it out. Somebody's going to win. I lean toward Dennison. Not that he's great, but the fact that he is undefeated and they're looking to get Austin Lane, probably another loss and out of the UFC, makes the most sense to me. So anyway, I'll go with Dennison, although he is a favorite in this one. Ariana Lipsky versus Karine Silva. Got to go with Karine Silva, 17-4. She's a great finisher. She's really dynamic. She's really aggressive. She won her last 4 by submission, including the Contender Series. That's pretty rare at 125 pounds, right? Usually we see a lot of fighters go to decision, even if they're really talented. Her jiu-jitsu game is really outstanding. Ariana Lipsky has faced pretty good talent. J.J. Aldrich, Casey O'Neill beat her by armbar last time out. There might be some good ground exchanges in this one, and I think Karine Silva has a slight edge. If you got to go decision, Lipsky, based on the experience advantage, especially against talent that's taken her into deeper waters, but I think it's going to be a ground game type of fight, and I think Karine Silva wins that. So I got to go with Karine Silva by submission. Pretty easy pick there. What else have we got? We have Ryan Spann versus Bogdan Gusoff. Ryan Spann is one of those guys I've never been 100% sold on. He's had power in spurts. He's had aggression in spurts. He's had trouble against next-level guys other than Dominic Reyes, who I think just ran into a really rough spot in his career that he's still in. Lost to Anthony Smith last time out. Love Anthony Smith. I thought Ryan Spann won that fight, but a loss against Nikita Krylov. Had lost to Anthony Smith previously by rear naked choke. Johnny Walker. You see the trajectory here. He tends to lose the step up performance. He's tall. He's really explosive. He's really powerful. Has good range. Great right hand. Excellent jab. When he keeps his punches straight, he does very, very well. Bogdan Gusoff is the X factor, right? He's only had 2 fights in the UFC. He's 1-1. Lost to Volkan Oezdemir, then Zach Pauga beat him by knockout early. So really don't know what we're getting. I'm going with the established name. We know what Ryan Spann can do. He's been here before. He's been on the cusp of, mid-level contendership-ish before. So Ryan Spann, and also he's tall and he's rangy. Guskoff's 6'2". Ryan Spann has the height advantage, has the reach advantage. I think he can keep even a tough striker at distance when you're 6'5". Got to go with Ryan Spann in this one, probably by knockout, probably in the first 2 rounds. So that brings us to our main event. Matheus Nicola versus Alex Perez. I actually thought Matheus Nicola would be a bigger favorite. When I'm looking at the odds, the interesting thing to me is Alex Perez plus 150, 145-ish. Matheus Nicola minus 180, minus 175. So Matheus Nicola is the favorite, but I really thought the odds would be a bit more skewed. Why? Matheus Nicola coming off a tough loss to Brandon Royval, but Brandon Royval just beat Brandon Moreno. Very, very tough guy. Before that, it was 6 in a row. He's versatile. He's explosive. He's fast. Does have finishing ability. Does have a slick ground game when he needs it. Alex Perez has lost 3 in a row. 3 in a row. And when I look at just that, yeah, tough guys. Davison Figueiredo, Alexandre Pantoja, Muhammad Mokaev, but still, he's coming off 3 losses in a row. Before that, he had won 3 in a row. But that bounce back, right? That win some, lose some, up and down. Matheus Nicola had a bump in the road against a very tough fighter. Alex Perez, you're wondering if one more loss if he's out of the UFC. That might motivate him a bit. But still, I got to go with Matheus Nicola, especially for those odds. You get plus 1, minus 190. I thought he'd be at least a 2-1 favorite. If you can get under 2-1 for a guy like that, I got to say take it on Matheus Nicola. So those are my picks. As always, I will be on next week to own them or, give you my reasons why it didn't work out. Anyway, I appreciate all of your support. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you.